I really want to first thank everybody here in the room for having such just a great amount of innovative products that are out there. It's really great to see and be a part of this particular conference. I just wish that some banks were able to innovate as fast as some of the people here in this room. As you know, bankers and developers sometimes speak different languages, maybe live on different continents, and sometimes even different planets. And because of that, that may be a problem, or that may not be a problem. But it might be a problem if a bank needs to innovate in a matter of days versus weeks or months. So from that perspective, we'd like to take a look at the current conversation between bankers and developers.
Look, I get it. Innovation is important, absolutely. But as a banker, man, you don't know what it's like to be me. Man, I've got disparate systems, I've got astronomical costs, and don't even get me started on the back end. Man, I get it, banker bro, dude. It's all good. I don't know what it's like to be you, but what I do know how to do, I know how to build awesome apps. All I need is a straightforward API service and a development portal, and dude, I can make it happen. No, first off, I don't speak your little API language. Oh, man, it's API. But listen, you don't speak security. Now, I've got regulatory hoops to jump through, and in one word, the back end, it's insane. Now, we've got an API strategy, but it's on the slow track. It's like the super slow track. And dude, with a dude like that, you are never going to keep up with the Googles of the world, you know. You want cool apps for your bank, don't you?
All right, guys. I think I can solve this problem. All right? Banks have a ton of data, and developers have the vision and the cool ability to be able to build apps on that data. At Yodlee, we speak API better than anybody, and we've been providing banking data through our own APIs for years. But now we've created a service that presents Yodlee APIs into a single API service that banks can offer to developers.
Yeah, but Yodlee Speaker Man, isn't like Mastery and Apogee doing that already?
No, they are not creating APIs. They are only exposing access to certain services. That's the easy part. What we bring to the table is fundamentally different. This is not just another Yodlee API. This is an API service for a bank to expose data that's been trapped in systems and never exposed before. With our banking connections, we're the only ones who can get all that data into a single API product that banks can offer to developers.
No. So you're telling me as a banker, I don't need to be fluent in API?
Not if you use our service called Yodlee Enterprise API. To show you how it works, let's look at an app called Stockpile, which is an app that allows you to buy gift cards of stock for other people.
Now, this actually is exactly what I want from my bank right now, right here.
But for a bank, you might want to combine Stockpile with an existing service like a change program. It'd be cool if every time your customers paid for something, the bank rounded up the change and invested it in stock. So how can we make this happen? Well, if the bank has the Yodlee Enterprise API, it's fairly simple. Let's say you're a developer. You can come to this cool IQ Bank developer portal, and you can see core navigation as a capability map. When I start to drill down, you can see the complexities from the bank system's perspective.
Yeah,
and you could also see that many of these systems have their own APIs and access path.
But WTF, man, I mean, look at it. It's confusing. It's like a freaking cluster, dude.
But these APIs eliminate all the complexity. They're a simple set of APIs that covers all those bank systems. At the same time, the bank had some important APIs that we can easily add to the mix here. In this case, we've got the get the account info. Here are some sample APIs. You can see all the things you'd expect from a developer portal. So let's say I'm a developer at Stockpile, and I search the portal and find the change API. Here you can see the specific documentation, the parameters, and everything to get a method to get the change from last month. There are all kinds of incredibly useful information here for me as a developer. What the API does, how I can use it, what accounts it's relevant for, etc. To show you how this works in your world, I've invited Avi from Stockpile to come on as a cameo. Avi?
Hey, thanks, thanks, John. So what I wanted to do was kind of explain how we took the Yodlee Enterprise API and used it to build a new Invest the Change app for IQ Bank here. And it really turned out to be a pretty easy thing to do. We basically, what are you looking at? we basically changed a little bit of logic around, made a new API call to the new Yodlee API that we found, and that was pretty much it. It took about a couple of weeks to do, and really, here you are. The customer ended up with a brand new app right there in their online bank account, and it's something they've never had before.
Well, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dude, man, banker bro, you got to get out more.
All right. Well, let me show you how it works. So basically, you click on this thing here, which is already done, and that opens up the app. And the first thing you do is pick a stock. So you click on that green button, and there's a whole shopping mall of stocks you can choose from, both stocks and ETFs. We have hundreds of them. And so I'm going to choose Apple. And then once I made the choice, basically the app takes over from there. So at that point, the app just starts tracking your purchases, and every time you buy something, let's say you buy a latte at Starbucks for $3.75, the app tracks that 25 cents a change, and all month long it sort of racks up or accumulates that change. And so at the end of the month, takes that total, it grabs it out of your bank account and invests it into Apple stock. And so if you've got $50 investment, it turns into about a half share of stock. Now fast forwarding to what it looks like sort of in the middle of the month, basically here I've racked up about $45 of spare change. That's going to turn into Apple stock at the end of the month, fractional shares of Apple stock. And at the bottom, this is where I am based on participating in this program for the last few months. You can see I own a bunch of stock.
Great. Thanks, Avi. Just a couple of points to add. Our API service has the proven security of our financial cloud. You get performance and uptime guarantees, and you can enable new Yodlee features as they come online.
Which is critical, man, because security non-negotiable. It could help me sell it to the stiffs upstairs.
Plus, we've made it as easy as possible for developers with an API services template that leverages the API blueprint for rapid prototyping, auto-generated content samples, and even a mock test environment.
That was fast, man. And I mean, I got apps I could do I could start coding right now.
So yes, I agree. So you know all those cool Finovate apps that you've been seeing lately? You can now integrate those into your online and mobile banking. As you can see, Yodlee's Enterprise API brings bankers and developers together. It helps them speak the same language for faster innovation in a more cost-efficient way. Because at Yodlee we speak API, now you can too. Thank you very much, and come by the booth.
There you go.